So we're trying to bring back a bit of currency to crypto by making it very easy to just transfer funds. The inspiration here was things like Venmo and PayPal and Cash App and so on that make it very easy to just, send someone some funds. There's two things. One is literally easy payments, so easy sending of funds for the end user. So it's much more easy to just send someone a link that acts both as the receipt and to transfer funds without having to ask about all these annoying things. But also, it's super useful for marketers and people who want to kind of do a Web2 airdrop because you don't need to know people's Web3 identities. You just need to have some kind of communication channel with them. So it could be their email address or their Telegram or in MeetSpace, that's a real world event. I think for Peanut to have some kind of privacy built in because like these links, which are essentially off-chain messages, are like a perfect fit for a privacy protocol because every privacy protocol will kind of have to rely on this kind of off-chain message anyway. So that's a really, really nice fit in terms of the protocol design. We kind of like slightly paused that. We did have a proof of concept even using trusted execution environments for private Peanut links. We kind of paused it a little bit to see what happens in the space. Sometimes I even wonder why there isn't literally government support for open source blockchain projects because it's so much aligned with this idea that we should have transparency, which is like something that all democracies should want, right? We should have some kind of co-ownership, which is, at least on paper, what we should have in a democratic society. And all this verifiability and permissionlessness and so on, all these tie into these like enlightenment values that we pretend to implement, but actually we don't, right? So I'm kind of curious to see how it goes on a wider social scale.
Welcome to episode 13 of Into the Forest with Pine. Today I have Conrad. Conrad, why don't you start off introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're working on?
Sure. So I'm a co-founder at Peanut Protocol. And what we do is we make sending tokens easier.
So how did you come about with this idea and like how did it kind of start?
So you know how in cryptocurrency it says currency?
Yeah.
And we realized how difficult it actually was to use tokens as a currency. Um, when you want to transfer tokens, let's say I wanted to send you some something that's equivalent to $1,000, I would have to ask you, hey, what's your wallet address? Which chain are you on? What's your preferred token? All of that is a lengthy back and forth that seems very, very cumbersome. So we're trying to bring back a bit of currency to crypto by making it very easy to just transfer funds. The inspiration here was things like Venmo and PayPal and Cash App and so on that make it very easy to just, send someone some funds.
Can you describe to the audience a little bit about how your protocol works and how people can use it?
Sure. So the way it works is instead of having to ask for a wallet address and the chain someone is on, you simply generate a link, a URL, or it could be a QR code too, and then you send that through the messenger that you're using anyway. Or you could be even just standing next to someone in MeetSpace and show them a QR code. So the idea here is that like we have already a communication channel. I already know you, Jack, here from this app. So why should I go back and forth between these different channels of communication, ask you for a wallet address or maybe your ENS and all these chain details and so on?
Yeah. What do you think is like kind of the most useful like I guess use case for your protocol for
Sure. So
people?
Sure. So there's two things. One is literally easy payments, so easy sending of funds for the end user. So it's much more easy to just send someone a link that acts both as the receipt and to transfer funds without having to ask about all these annoying things. But also, it's super useful for marketers and people who want to kind of do a Web2 airdrop because you don't need to know people's Web3 identities. You just need to have some kind of communication channel with them. So it could be their email address or their Telegram, or in MeetSpace, that's a real world event. It could be, just showing them QR codes, and that is enough to transfer tokens to them. So it's quite useful for airdropping to Web2 audiences.
Yeah, definitely. So I was looking on your website and I saw that you guys are like trying to integrate with like different protocols. Like, how do you think like peanut protocols like integrations can like help other protocols work, and like what are your kind of plans on doing that?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So I saw you guys were like integrating with other projects and stuff like that. Like, what projects do you think would be like really great to integrate with, and like, yeah, kind of could you expand on that?
Sure. So we recently did a very cool thing with Beam by Eco. So Eco is this community governed um, coin and currency that is, tries to be kind of a stable that is not pegged. And their vision is to actually, be a bring back currency to cryptocurrency and actually be useful to people to transfer funds. And they created a wallet called Beam, which is a super neat and sleek experience where you just can use your Twitter or whatever to authenticate. And then, in fact, to send tokens, you would generate a link or show a QR code. And under the hood, that uses Peanut Protocol. Um, and that's one of these integrations that like really excite us because it's just a really, really sleek experience. So you can go to like beam.eco and check out how easy it is to use. Um, it's these kind of things. Generally, wallets are something that we're very keen on because we can help users get onboarded onto a specific wallet too, right? So in the case of Beam, someone receives a Beam link with like $5 on it. Now they have a reason to actually click, generate C-trace via Twitter, whatever, and log in via Twitter, create that, and have an actual Web3 wallet. It's kind of like PayPal grew in the late 90s and early noughties was through this very simple idea of being able to send some funds to anyone who had an email address.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So when I first used your protocol, one thing that really occurred to me was that like you could almost like use crypto without having a wallet. And one thing that I thought, I guess maybe you guys aren't doing today, but I was wondering if you guys are thinking about it, is like maybe creating a way for people to send these coupons from peer to peer rather than directly cashing them out. Is that ever anything you've thought about? Because I think it would be kind of a really cool way to kind of allow somebody to interact with crypto who never even has to get a wallet at all.
Yeah, it would be super cool to have these coupons or gift cards where they can just be forwarded, right? So instead of claiming it to your wallet, you would just forward them, and you could like never actually withdraw them. So I think it's like if we grow big enough, then it would just be a kind of front-end issue to have your funds be not just the funds that you actually have in your wallet, but also the funds where you like clicked claim but actually didn't withdraw them fully to your specific wallet, and thereby you could maybe save some gas, although I don't think that's going to be an issue long term. Um, but yeah, it would be cool to have gift cards. We also thought about physical gift cards, so that's a neat way where you can just gift someone some crypto in a non-custodial way, where then that there could be an NFT or whatever um, attached to it. So one of the cool things you can do with Peanut now, a very recent feature, by the way, is that you can claim multiple. You can put multiple tokens onto your link. So you can do like NFT plus gas token, like native token plus like an ERC20 or whatever.
Yeah, because this seems like a really cool way to kind of get people started using Web3 without having to kind of set up everything first and then get the money. Like if you have the money there, there's just such an incentive to kind of set up a wallet and kind of do stuff like that. So
exactly
currently you
our
guys are in
thinking. Yeah.
beta.
Sorry. Yeah.
So currently you guys are in beta right now. Like what are you guys planning to build out before you feel like you're kind of a completed like protocol in production?
Sure. So right now we're still adding lots and lots of features. So the thing with the multiple tokens in every link that I mentioned, that's just something from literally this week. So that's very exciting. And once we have something that is a bit more stable in terms of new features, we'll move out of beta. But that being said, I think it's worth mentioning that on protocol side, there isn't really a way to lose funds. So one of we have several safety features such as um, the sender always being able to withdraw the funds even if they lose the password. So the way a peanut link works is you have a link and then there's a password that unlocks the funds in that link. So you can imagine it as if I'm putting some money into a little chest. I lock it up and then I send you the key off chain, and the chest is on chain. I send you the key via this link or URL, um, and that's um, as a sender I can always withdraw. So that's one big safety feature that we have. So um, it's not really a matter of like worrying about stability or people losing funds. It's more about like literally adding features every month.
Yeah, totally. So another thing that kind of occurred to me while using this, I don't know if you guys are thinking about this at all, is like, do you like have privacy ever been something that you guys are kind of thinking about in the way that this works? Because it seems like that this could be a very good tool to kind of send crypto in a private manner. Like, have you kind of thought about this at all?
We have thought about it a lot. It is a very, very exciting thing, I think, for Peanut to have some kind of privacy built in because, like, these links, which are essentially off-chain messages, are like a perfect fit for a privacy protocol because every privacy protocol will kind of have to rely on this kind of off-chain message anyway. Um, so that's a really, really nice fit in terms of the protocol design. Um, we kind of like slightly paused that. We did have a proof of concept even using trusted execution environments for private peanut links. We kind of paused it a little bit to see what happens in the space. We like I think we are extremely useful for onboarding. And that's the main thing we wanted to focus on and not dilute our attention too much to this completely separate use case, which is more directed to power users. I really hope that very soon, like in a few months, we'll be able to revisit that as a feature and maybe collaborate with some protocol that is already, kind of is privacy focused.
Yeah. So, kind of zooming out a little bit and talking about like the greater crypto ecosystem, like what kind of things in the crypto ecosystem like really excite you and kind of why are you kind of here?
um, I'm super excited about well, self-custody and decentralization and the fact that stuff is composable in Web3. So I think it's an extremely unique feature when you think about about the financial system, which is all these like very closed off systems. Even with open banking and so on, they're still very, very closed. That me as a guy literally in a basement, in a tiny studio flat, can build something that allows people to transfer actual value. And I can do that, and it's completely open, and anyone has access to it. It's completely permissionless. I think that's incredibly exciting, and I really see the potential here because these closed and also over-regulated systems are yeah, they're just not fit for purpose, I think. So I hope
Yeah,
really
no.
that crypto could be part of the future, not just financial infrastructure, but also all sorts of infrastructures. Sometimes I even wonder why there isn't literally government support for open source blockchain projects, because it's so much aligned with this idea that we should have transparency, which is like something that all democracies should want, right? We should have some kind of co-ownership, which is, at least on paper, what we should have in a democratic society. Um, and all this verifiability and permissionlessness and so on, all these tie into these like enlightenment values that we pretend to implement, but actually we don't, right? So I'm kind of curious to see how it goes on a wider social scale.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, kind of, what's the future for Peanut Protocol and kind of, I don't know. Yeah, just, yeah, what else are you guys, what's on the horizon for you guys?
Yeah, so we're still adding features. So one of the most exciting things that we're thinking about is what we call transfer abstraction. So if you think about people sending tokens, they transfer value, and that means that there's all sorts of events, conditions, um, circumstances, details tied to that. It's not just that I send you $1,000. I send you $1,000 for doing a specific thing in a specific context, um, maybe to a specific account, and maybe in a specific currency on a specific chain, and so on. All these things are like quite complicated for just like transferring $1,000 of value. Um, and when we think about transfer abstraction, we really want to abstract away as much as possible and encapsulate everything in that link. So, for instance, I could create such a peanut link that I send you 1,000 USDC on Polygon, but maybe you want to claim 1,000 USDT on Arbitrum, right? It's the same thing. You can programmatically add in a bridge and a swap in a way that is completely in the background for the end user, and the end user just sees, well, you received $1,000, and you can choose to claim in whichever thing you want. Same for the other direction, right? You might want to receive $1,000, and now I'm able to top it up. That request, that payment request, I can top it up in whichever way I like. And I'm very excited about that because I think that's extremely unique to crypto and DeFi. In TradFi, we are stuck with not only bank accounts, but IBAN addresses and multiple bank accounts, and then every currency has a bank account, and it's all very messy and complicated. Um, and I think that's a unique opportunity to simplify these things.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. I think this is a great way to wrap it up. Thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack.